This is a brief way to introduce long-term care planning to your prospects and clients. So let's get right into it. Basically, long-term care, the cost of extended care in a facility or at home may be one of the largest expenses a retiree may face. And there's really basically three ways to address it. One is private insurance, including that of life insurance. So if you own life insurance, you owe it to yourself to see if you own the old type of life insurance or the new type. The new type provides a benefit for individuals facing this issue in their life. For most individuals over the age of, say, 60, purchasing long-term care insurance can be very expensive. So it's good to look at perhaps alternatives to that in the form of insurance. But if you can't afford either one of them, the next way to address it is private pay. Pay it yourself. And if you pay for it yourself long enough, you're going to go on the state's plan, which is called Medicaid. Well, let's take a look at what it costs for care here in the state of Connecticut. In the state of Connecticut, on average, this was a survey done in 2019, for a semi-private nursing home, it's $152,388 a year. For home health care, it's around $55,000 a year. You could see why this is one of the greatest expenses you're going to face in retirement. You can also see that for an individual that faces this, it may not take a long time before they evaporate a lot of their retirement savings. So let's take a look at what it looks like if you were to pay for this yourself and eventually qualify for state aid or Medicaid. Here are the requirements to qualify for state aid or Medicaid. If you are married, you can keep half of your assets up to $128,640. Now let's talk about that for just a minute. Let's say that you had $200,000 in total assets. You could only keep $100,000. You can't keep up to the $128,640. If you had $400,000 in assets, you can't keep half of your assets or $200,000. You're going to have to spend your assets down to the $128,640. You can keep a pension and Social Security for the person who is not in the facility. This is very important to understand because you may have a public pension, you retired and are receiving a pension. Not too many folks have that. But you also have the ability, if you're married, to convert some of your assets into a private pension. We'd like to drill down on that as it relates to your personal situation to see how that might be an option and opportunity for you. If you're married, you can also keep your home up to around $900,000 in value. You can keep a prepaid burial plan up to around $10,000, and you can keep one car. You're going to have to sell one of your cars if you have two. Generally, we recommend selling both cars and buying a brand new car because it's the only car you may have for the rest of your life. If you're single, the situation is far, far different. If you're single, you can only keep $1,600. So if you're married, one of you goes into the nursing home, goes on Medicaid, that person that's in the nursing home can actually keep $1,600 for themselves as well. But if you're not married, you're going to have to spend all of your assets down to $1,600. Of your Social Security, pension, and the like, you can only keep $60 of that monthly income. You can keep a little more if you're a wartime veteran. You can also have a prepaid burial plan similar to that we talked about before. So as you can see here, if you are not married, it's a pretty dire situation as far as assets that you can keep and still qualify for Medicaid. What this really reinforces is the need to plan. The need to plan to protect as much of your hard-earned dollars as possible. And we've helped hundreds of people protect millions of dollars from this great retirement threat. In fact, we have a program that will help you see what your potential liability is. We can run a report for you based on your assets and income and demonstrate for you exactly what your potential spend down is, and then provide you with some ideas as to how you can take control of the situation instead of forfeiting control if you should face a situation like this. We would encourage you to provide us with some brief information in order for us to run this report and demonstrate to you what your potential liability is. As we said, this is an expertise of ours, and we've helped hundreds of people protect their assets.